Oh, I don't think I've ever seen you guys before. Here for business?
You're Fahar, right?
Yes. May I ask who introduced you?
Alkami. My friend here wants to enroll in his architecture class, but they're a bit short on money. Alkami told us you're the man to go to in this kind of situation.
Oh, sounds like his business is booming. How much do you need?
Let me see. I'd say around 3 million mora.
Oof, you call that a bit short on money? Anyway, since you're here because of Alkami, I can work things out for you. Make sure you sign the contract, though. Lots of people are borrowing money from me nowadays. Here you go. Don't worry, there's nothing particularly unusual about it. All you need to do is pay back the loan in full within 3 years.
And what if they won't be able to pay it back?
What do you mean, won't be able to pay it back? Once you graduate from Alkami's place, you'll be making millions of mora a year. Easy! At that point, paying this off will be a piece of cake. And even if you were to run into some difficulties and need to delay the installments, it's no big deal. We're all reasonable people here. If you can't pay quickly, you can just pay it back over a longer period. All that would change is your interest rates would get a little higher. It's hard work running a business. If we're taking risks to supply you with mora, it's only fair that you take on a bit of the financial risk as well. Anyway, there's no point in tying yourself in knots over the contract. With the way you're reading every single line, it's like you're worried you're about to get scammed out of your whole life savings. Why would I lie to you? Tons of students at Alkami's place have signed the contract. Aren't they all doing pretty well for themselves?
I just did some calculations in my head. When you say the interest will get a little higher, do you mean it'll get higher than 30%? Of course, the contract did a great job of trying to obfuscate that fact. It only listed the amount that you'll have to repay every day, which gives the false impression that the amount hasn't actually increased by all that much. If you actually do the math, however, it's clear that the amount you need to pay on interest alone will amount to hundreds of thousands of mora per year. Most people can't even make that much mora in a year. Your greed really knows no bounds. Even my creditor doesn't dare to raise rates that high. Once a family's signed on to a scheme like this, there's no getting out.
What are you trying to say, huh? I figured something was off when two well-dressed people came looking for a loan. Think you got the better of me? Too many people are sticking their noses where they don't belong these days. Luckily for me, though, this is a pretty secluded spot. Hey, come out and teach these guys a lesson!
Eremites? I've already fought off more than my fair share of them when I was working in the desert. There are only a few of them, so they shouldn't pose much of a threat. Marak, you're up! Following orders.
Feeling lucky today?
The fuse is lit! Gotta watch it. Lighter, please.
You want this one?
Scanning. Come at me. Sight clear.
Who are you and what do you want? I don't think we've done anything to hurt or offend you, so why go this far to destroy my livelihood?
Debt has the power to upend your whole life. I know very well just how miserable living in debt can be. But my debts are the culmination of many different factors, and my interest rate is still somewhat reasonable. As long as I continue to work with my situation in mind, my debts will eventually be paid off. But these students are different. They have neither the mental preparation nor the financial resources to pay back a debt like this. You sold the dreams of becoming an architect to the students as bait, urging them to take on insurmountable amounts of debt to satisfy your greed.
Ha! Everyone knows there's no such thing as a free lunch. It's their own fault for falling into the trap. And if we're going to talk about greed, aren't those students the ones who are blinded by it? They completely ignore the risk that's right there in front of them.
Ha! And here comes the silver tongue. Surely you use that to reel in the students as well. Even now, many of them are still hopelessly dreaming of striking gold after they graduate. People grow by learning from their mistakes. I hope this will be a valuable lesson to them. Let's head back to the Akademiya and turn this guy over to the Matra. They should be able to link him with Alkami's business. Sino? Didn't think I would run into you here.
My vacation just ended not too long ago, so I'm going over some cases at the Akademiya. Who's this? I see. Charging an interest rate over 30% indeed constitutes a crime. As it is highly likely that Alkami is also benefiting from this scheme, the Matra will open an investigation on him as well. The training center will be closed until further notice. Any funds we manage to recover from the suspects will be returned to the students. It's unclear how much we'll be able to get back, however, given their extravagant spending.
That should still be enough. Once the students realize the error of their ways, they won't fall so easily for such traps in the future. Anyway, thank you for your help. I hope this won't be too much trouble for you.
It's no trouble. Just another day at work. How did you two get tangled up in this anyway? Did you accept any mora from him?
He promised to pay me 300,000 mora per lecture, but I resigned as soon as I finished the first session. I didn't take a single coin.
Ah, that's good.
What do you mean, that's good? Would you have taken me into custody as well if I had actually accepted any mora?
I wouldn't have gone that far. But, had he insisted that you were also an active participant in his schemes, under our rules, we would have been required to open an investigation on you as well. Either way, though, I believe you are innocent in all of this. Had you actually been alright with making money through less than noble means, your life wouldn't be the mess it currently is.
Hey, what was that? What do you mean my life is a mess?
Never mind. Your life is fine.
You're just messing with me now, aren't you?
Let's get back to business. If Alkami's case can be successfully resolved, you'll be eligible for a monetary reward from the Akademiya. Don't forget to pick it up after the fact.
Huh. I didn't even know there was such a thing. I never would have guessed. What I'm trying to say is that we didn't report Alkami because we thought we could make some more off of it.
The reward will be given regardless of your personal motivations. It was implemented with the intent of encouraging people to supply tips to the Matra.
Fine.
Is there anything else?
I want to go back to the training center one more time and talk to some of the kids.
Sure, but you should wait until tomorrow. My subordinates will shut down the center today, and summon the students to gather information on the total amount of mora they've lost in the scam.
Alright, then I'll stay out of their way. I can talk to the kids tomorrow.
I have a few other things to take care of, so I'll be off for now. If you want to follow up on this case, just come find me again. Or ask one of the Matra.
That should finally be the end of that. Oh, who would have thought it would turn out like this? All I wanted was to find a new gig and earn some mora. To think Alkami would sink this low, it still makes me really upset. Still, I think I feel a little better now than when you found me back at the tavern. It's a little ironic, but you could say it's because I've realized that there are many circumstances in the world that are even worse than my own. Now that I've seen such things firsthand, I suppose I've earned a new sense of appreciation for my life. How should I put it? I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to my profession, so I often argue with my clients. The arguments are usually extremely frustrating, and every once in a while I'd wonder if I only became an architect because fate wanted me to pay for some sins I'd committed in a previous life. Alkami's suggestion would have allowed me to quit my life as an architect and earn money solely from my reputation. But now that I've experienced that for myself, I can confidently say that I'd never want to do it again. Every scholar has their own sense of pride and a line that they don't like to cross. Of course, when faced with the vicissitudes of life, some will surrender these things to seek a more comfortable life. I can understand that. Just speaking for myself, though, I don't think that's something I'd ever be able to do. The voice in my heart would just keep repeating one thing. The moment I turn away from my dreams would be the moment my career ends. If I stopped devoting everything to my creative activities, I'd be able to lead a more comfortable life, but at the same time, my sense of intuition and understanding for the arts would also begin to degrade. At that point, any materialistic ease I may have gained in life would just become another form of torment. In comparison, my current life comes with its share of difficulties, but at least I'd never have to deal with that kind of existential reckoning. I appreciate it. You may call me conceited for this, but I would also like to think I'm talented enough to be able to lead a decent life without compromising my pride. It's certainly not easy, but I want to keep at it. My thanks again for being such a great help throughout all of this. I'm planning to pay another visit to those kids tomorrow. Want to come with me? All right, I'll see you tomorrow then. Get some good rest.
Would have guessed Mr. Alkami was a scammer.
The training center has been shut down, and the Madra have promised to return some of our tuition. But we've already spent so much time on this class. What should we do next?
Mr. Kaveh said we can keep working on our fundamentals and try to get into the Akademiya. Easier said than done. If it was easier to get into the Akademiya, none of us would have signed up for the class in the first place. Only the best of the best can get into the Akademiya studying on their own. Mr. Kaveh might be willing to teach us.
Why? What reason does he have to stick around?
So, you're the only ones that showed up today, huh?
Huh? Kaveh's here!
Now, that's Mr. Kaveh to you. I'm here as your instructor, so let's keep things a little more proper. I'll keep instructing you for a while longer. You can pass on the message to the other students. As long as someone wants to come, they can join the class. Oh, also, I'm usually pretty busy, so I'll only be able to teach architecture fundamentals on my days off. Another disclaimer. I can't promise that you'll all be able to understand everything I'm going to teach. Architecture is not an easy profession. Aesthetics aside, even the basics of safe design can already be a handful for most people. If you want to design safe buildings, you'll have to go through a systematic study of structural engineering. And just as a heads up, all of this will be a huge step up from the superficial stuff you were learning before. It'll take both talent and perseverance to get through the course. I don't want to hear anyone say that I didn't warn you.
We'll try our best.
It seems some of you are really serious about this after all. All right, everyone, pack your stuff up. No need to prepare much for today's class. We're going to go on a quick field trip. You'll know once we get there. Come on, let's get going. We'll be off once everyone's grabbed their pencils and sketch pads. This lighthouse has been around for a long time, and I handled its renovations when I first graduated from the Akademiya. The point of today is not so much about the lighthouse as a building, however. I just want you to take a look at it and do a bit of self-reflection. If you were tasked today with designing a building, how would you want it to look like? Don't think about how you'd actually go about building it for now. Just put your ideas to paper and draw the prettiest building that comes to your mind.
So, it can be, any kind of building?
Yep, as long as you think it'd look good. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a building. If you want, you can draw trees, the ocean, or even a garden area. Draw whatever you'd like. In my experience, it's best to approach the study of architecture from a point of personal interest, rather than for the sake of a career. Both the study and practice of architectural design are extremely difficult. A person who's forced to work on projects that they don't resonate with will only struggle and suffer. So at least for today, I hope the students will be able to create something that they enjoy. There's no need to think about it too hard. They'll have plenty of time in the future to revisit the design and make changes. What do you think? Want to try your hand at it as well? Don't forget that this is a free class from Mr. Kaveh, the Light of the Kasharawar. On a normal day, this would cost you 300,000 mora.
Da-da. Da-da-da-da. Da. Go, Barbara, go!
Of all the who doesn't? I created many designs that I thought were beautiful in the house. If I... The Akademiya... Oh, here, this is a great example. This book, History of Ancient Sumeru Architecture, contains some analysis that I did many years ago. Huh? Why is Alhaitham's handwriting also in here? When did he ever read this book? I guess it's probably from when we worked on that research project together. Anyway, he probably never cared to tell you this, but the House of Dana is where Alhaitham and I first met. I came here to do my homework, and saw him sitting by himself next to that row of bookshelves. A group of Haravatat scholars were chatting near him, but he looked as if he was too lazy to join them. There was a pretty stark difference between him and all the rest of them. It was my fault for feeling bad for him. I thought he must have gotten into some kind of trouble and went over to ask if he needed anything, not realizing that...
Not realizing that you were in fact the one in a whole heap of trouble?
Alhaitham? Why are you here?
The House of Dana is a public space.
But shouldn't...
You think I would... I came here to pick...
All right, I admit I was probably...
There was nothing embarrassing. When I was still a student, we had a number of... The more important question is, why are you...
As...
I see. Oh.
Huh?
Sure. Leave any words as a result.
What? Okay, just you wait. I'm going to fix this right now. I'll dig all the books out and return them to the proper shelves.
Oh, we'll wait. Anyway, you were about to say he's feeling a bit down? Put through the ringer. He probably did suffer quite a bit, that's true. But the satisfaction... There are plenty of architects in Sumeru who are clearly his... Of course, each person is different, and we should respect the admonitions will...
Looks like you were having an enjoyable chat while I was gone.
What do you think?
Well, anyway, you should take a look at this. Look at this comment on... See that?
And it looks like you're all...
Me?
Why don't you just move all the books yourself? Kaveh had a habit of scribbling and writing in all...
Hey! Oh, actually, I also found a really old sketch in one of the books. Huh? You...
We can also...
If I don't keep... There shouldn't be any...
There are in...
See? Come on, let's take a stroll through Port Ormos.
No need.
Suit...